Dear friends of the Tom Photo channel, I own two nice and popular 50mm prime lenses that work with both full frame and crop sensor. Nikkor AF-S 50mm f1.8G and Nikkor AF F 1.8D. I have reviewed both lenses separately and the links to those videos are below. Today I'd like to do a side-by-side comparison of these rather different lenses. The similarities start and end at the focal length of 50mm and largest aperture of f1.8. Just about everything else about them is different. To make it more fun to watch, let's turn this video into a competition. I ask a question and let's see which lens has a better answer. For simplicity, I'll be calling the lenses G and D. Date of release. The G was released in 2011, while the D was released in 2002. Since this doesn't matter, the score is 0-0. Image quality. This is very similar indeed. Both lenses do a beautiful job. The D has a tiny bit more distortion, so let's increment the score to 1-0 with G now in the lead. Build quality. Both lenses contain lots of plastic, but the mounts are made of metal. The G feels more solid, while the rings on the D lens do not turn very smoothly. The aperture ring on D makes cheap sounding grinding clicks. Again, the point will go to G, making the score 2-0 in favor of the G. So the G has an early lead, but will this remain so at the finish line? Used price. When bought used, the D is much cheaper. You're paying around 150 to 200 euro for the G, while it's not unlikely to find the D for under 100 euro if you get lucky. The point is going in the other direction this time, and we have a G-D score of 2-1. Size. The G is larger than D. Their respective weights are 185 grams and 155 grams. Both lenses are more wide than long. The G has dimensions of 72 x 53 mm, while the D is 64 x 39 mm. The G has a filter size of 58. The smaller lens uses filters that are 52 mm in diameter. The size differences are not significant, but the point still goes to the D because it's doing the same while being smaller. We now have a tie at 2-2. The D seems to be making a comeback. Motor. One reason the G is larger is because it has a motor, and a nice one, a quick silent wave motor. The D relies on your camera body motor, and you may not have it in your camera, so a very fat point goes to the G, making the score 3-2. Focusing noise. The G focuses silently and fast. The D is almost as fast, but much more noisy. This could cause your subject watching the wrong direction or an animal to flee. So after this additional point, the G lens pulls away at 4-2. Does the D still have a chance to catch up? Aperture ring. Only the D lens has a dedicated aperture ring. The G aperture is controlled by the camera body. This is a major advantage of the D because you can manually control the aperture. This is so necessary when you don't use Nikon cameras. You see, I often use this lens with Fujifilm. So the D gets a major point from me, and the score is now 4-3. The D is back in the game. Diaphragm blades. Both have 7 of them, so the score will remain the same. Why do the blades even matter? Because they influence the bokeh. Generally, you want more of them rather than less. However, it's not that simple, and the shape of the blades, such as rounded or not, also matters. Number of lens components. The G has 7 elements in 6 groups. The D has 6 elements in 5 groups. While you could argue that this makes the G more sophisticated, I'm reluctant to give a point for this because in the end it's the result that matters, and I already gave points for the image quality. The G stops at f-stop 16, whereas the D will go all the way to 22. Could this be considered an advantage? Not so much by me. I've never had a need to use f22 because of the diffraction issues you'll get. Still, I have to give the D a point because it does more here. Cannot argue against that. This will tie the lenses at 4-4. Sharpness profiles. I determined the sharpness graphs as I detail in my supporting videos, see the links below. The camera was Nikon D610. I photographed a painting that was 120 centimeters away. The results indicate that the lenses have a very similar sharpness profile and share the same general sweet spot around f-stop 5 and 6. Note that this graph is not telling us which lens is sharper, because I standardized both graphs by making the sharpest point equal to 1. Still, the G curve is a bit more flat, meaning that you have more f-stop values yielding very good results. The G lens jumped over the finish line first. So with a score of 5-4, the Nikkor AF-S 50mm f1.8G wins the battle. Congratulations to the winner. I consider the G a bit preferable lens to get indeed. However, this is true only if you have a Nikon system. If you buy it for a non-Nikon, the aperture ring of the D lens will make it more desired choice. Thanks so much for watching the battle of two lenses that both deserve to win. If you want to support me, please consider subscribing to my channel or leaving a like under the video. I hope to see you again in my other videos. Enjoy your photography. Goodbye.